Hi everyone, it's Monica, and welcome back to Tailor-Made Cards for You. Our theme this month for the Just Cards video hop is to use washi tape. Fortunately, I just got my hands on a collection from Primo Marketing called The Travelers, and I'm going to go ahead and put together a black and white sister's card since today is my sister's birthday. The two distress inks that I'm working with today are the Antique Linen and Black Soot. And I began by swiping both those inks onto my craft mat and then spritzing it with water and then swiping my card right in the middle. I didn't want to add the ink all over the card. I just really wanted to focus in the center. So once I was happy with the coverage, I did take out my heating tool to dry my cardstock. You're always going to get a little bit of warping on your paper whenever you add the water, but if you rotate drying the front as well as the back, that should help to straighten out your card. Your cardstock might feel a little bit more stiff as well, so feel free to just bend it and adjust it as needed to get it to a flat surface. All right, so once I was happy with the overall coverage of the card and the manipulation to kind of flatten it out, I did get out my washi tape. Now this is a new washi tape set for me, and what really caught my eye was the black and white butterflies. I am a butterfly fan. Probably can see that from my logo and from some of the cards that I've created. But I also like black and white. I think it's a really classic look. So when I saw the combination of the butterflies as well as the black and white, it really caught my eye. Now this is a really pretty washi tape set, and let me tell you a couple things about it. So you're going to get 4 rolls in the set, but the rolls aren't your standard washi size tape size. The rolls are a little bit bigger. You get 2 rolls that are a little bit bigger than your natural washi tape, and then you got 2 smaller rolls. So it's a really good set. All right, so I added the white and then I added the black washi tape over it, and then I got my black distress crayon to just smudge it up just a bit. Typically, when I know I'm going to be working with some texture paste or molding paste, as well as the washi tape, I do want to add my washi tape first. I try to get my card base with all the flat elements first before I add my texture paste, because that is going to give you some texture, of course, as well as a rough edge. So you want to get some of your flat elements on first. All right, so I did use the stencil from Holtz, which is the tile stencil. And that seems to be one of my favorite stencils over the last few videos. It really is versatile and there's a lot you can do with it, and I'm having a lot of fun using it. All right, so I did dry my molding paste, and then once that was completely dry, I did take one of my background stamps from I Break for Stamps to add a little bit more interest to my background. And then once I was happy with my overall layout, I went ahead and I added my white cardstock to some black cardstock just to give it a little bit more strength. Now by now you can see that I am going for a grungy look on my card, but I still wanted to add a little bit more interest. So I took my Black Soot Distress ink and I swiped it onto my Ranger mat, and then I spritzed it with water. And then I took a paintbrush and I just dabbed the edge of the paintbrush into the water to give it some streaks on the card. Now anytime you add moisture to your cardstock, you're going to want to get out your heating tool and give it a quick douse of heat, so that way you can dry your surface. I do plan on adding some more paper elements, and I wanted to make sure that my top was completely dry. Now this die cut has gotten some use over the past few days with some of the cards that I've created. I did recently create a Mother's Day card, and I'm not sure if it's because I had this die cut on my desk or just because I like the look, but I did continue to use it for my sister's card as well. So after I had die cut the black cardstock using my film strip die, I went ahead and I cut part of it because I wanted to have a couple of pieces on my card. And then I just took some of my my glue. I'm using my Tombow glue, and I just added it to the edges, and then I glued it onto my card. I also took some of my Distress Collage medium and I added it to the surface of my cardstock, and then I also added some of it to the outside of the film strip. I did want to make sure that that film strip didn't come up, so I wanted to make sure it was nice and secure. And then once again, I did pull out my heating tool just to dry the surface. Now the sentiment for my card is my focal point, and this is a new stamp that I just picked up from scrapbook.com, and the stamp is from Visible Image. The stamp is called Sister, I believe, and it's a definition stamp of a sister, and it's a beautiful stamp, and I really like the size of it as well because, like I said, it makes a nice focal point. And then my idea, since I was working with a black and white theme, is I stamped it using some white ink, and then I also used some white embossing powder. I don't have a lot of luck with white embossing powder. It tends to get all over my cardstock and my work area, but I do want to start using it just a little bit more because I really do like the look that it gives. I also use one of my static pouches just to help with some of the static and the overrun on some of the cardstock. Whenever you are working with black cardstock and white embossing powder, you do have a tendency to have speckles. So if you're using your anti-static, that will really help a lot. And the look of white embossing powder on black cardstock is really dramatic, and I love the way that looks. And then, of course, once you finish adding your embossing powder, you're going to want to get out your heating tool to dry it. And this, of course, will dry the plastic and give it a puffed up, nice look. Now, if you do happen to get some speckles of your white embossing powder on your black cardstock, you can easily remove that with a paintbrush. But you're going to want to make sure that you do that before you actually heat it, because once you heat set it, it is going to be stuck to your card. And then another tip is to, when you turn on your heating tool, just turn it on for a couple of seconds before you actually start putting it to your paper, because that will help you not to have the heat on your paper for too much longer than you need to. And then once the embossing powder was completely dry, I did take out my paper slicer to go ahead and cut down the sentiment to size. Again, this is going to be my focal point on my card, but I did want to cut it down just a bit. And then finally, I did adhere my sentiment to the top of my card using some foam tape. So at the end of the video, I do have a picture of another card I created where I used black embossing paste. And I just wanted to give you another idea and an example of what else you can do with this design. All right, so at this point, I am almost done with the card. It was just a matter of adhering it, like I said, with some foam tape, and then adding it to the base of my card. Now, don't forget, this is a video hop. So at the bottom of the video, I will leave a link to all of the other videos that are participating in the hop. So be sure to check them out. I'm sure they're going to give you lots of inspiration. All right, so as always, I will leave a list of all the products that I've used to create the card, along with the links to the shops. If you've enjoyed the video, I would sure appreciate a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, don't forget to hit that subscribe button before you head out. Now, as I said, I do have some close-ups of the cards that I created at the end of the video. So leave me a comment. Let me know which card you prefer. Do you prefer the card with the white embossing paste, or do you prefer the card with the black embossing paste? All right, everybody. Thanks so much for stopping by, and we'll see you again next time.